Hey everyone, I'm J-Town. Thanks for stopping by. Lately, I've gotten really invested into these two hit shows. You may or may not have heard of them. Dandadan and Gachiakuta, the two biggest anime of the summer season, and I just wanted to yap about them for a bit. So far, no one that I know personally has caught up to Dandadan Season 2, nor is there anyone who has started watching Gachiakuta. To be honest, they're just too impatient. They can't wait weekly for a new episode to come out, but they are so willing to wait for the show to be over just so they can binge it. Make it make sense, people. So anyway, that's what's been on my mind. I've been itching to weeb out and talk about anime, and that is exactly what I'm going to be doing today. You are going to listen, and you are going to like it, and you gotta comment on the video, and also subscribe. Okay, let's get started. Spoilers if you're not up to date with either of these shows. I know neither of these shows are completed at the moment, but right now I know there are people that don't even want like mid-season spoilers, so that's your warning. First, I want to talk about Dandadan. You know how the whole meme around Dandadan is that it's actually a romance disguised as a shonen? That is more true now more than ever, and in the best way possible. In between all the absolute chaos and buffoonery of each episode, there's always these moments of soft and gentle character development with each of the characters' relationships with one another. And this season especially focuses more on Momo and Ken's relationship. Not gonna lie, I am just like Momo's friends. I want to see them get together now more than ever. Just because the romance is progressing doesn't mean that the weird supernatural shit ain't happening. It's as weird and as batshit crazy as ever. I'm gonna get into some of the spoilers now, so first, the Ito family. Just what an absolute weird bunch of goobers. Like, you were doing yourself a disservice not watching the show in the dub, because in the dub, one of the men in the family is actually voiced by the same guy as Yujiro Hanma. Each one of them just has like a crotchety voice, and it just adds to just how weird and creepy they are. Especially the head grandma. Like, I forgot her name, but my god, what an absolute unit. Like, she can throw hands. When shit hits the fan and the family's trying to sacrifice them to the mountain spirit or whatever, the Alaskan bullworm, like, she went to work on Momo. Like, my gosh, she had to fight for her life against this psycho granny. And Momo herself, she knew, like, she got launched through 2 walls after, like, a finisher move. She had to mention, what the hell is the deal with this grandma? And it just made it even funnier that Turbo Granny, she just pops out of her backpack and just has to remind her, do you not remember your own grandma? Yeah, you're kind of right about that. But now that there is a trend that whenever they introduce a new grandma into the show, we know that they're going to be absolutely cracked. Like, there is 3. There is Momo's grandma, Turbo Granny, and now the Ito family grandma. And I thought it was going to end right there. But no, the Ito family just has to have one more bombshell up their sleeve, and it turns out they're not even human. They're subterranean bug creatures or whatever the shit. As if already they weren't the biggest pain in the ass already. Needless to say, when they come back, it's gonna be awesome. I gotta talk about it again, the giant Alaskan bullworm. Listen, I'm not saying the Ito family was right for sacrificing people, but you got to admit that there is some sort of correlation. Like, this all started because the Alaskan bullworm did not get a sacrifice, and then it went crazy, and then guess what? The volcano erupted. Maybe it wasn't directly stopping it, but you know for a fact that there's a cause and effect happening here. And I want to bring up Jiji as a character. Like, he's actually pretty divisive. Some people say he's too annoying. Some people say that he's actually alright. I'm actually in that camp. I actually really like Jiji a lot. I have heard some comparisons that he is basically the Zenitsu of Dandadan. No, he's not. Come on, he's not that annoying. And actually, I do really like his very much outgoing nature and just how much of an extrovert he is. Ken being super reserved and, you know, basically just exuding beta energy, it makes sense for him to be balanced by a very outgoing and just like an extroverted character like Jiji. It kind of makes sense how they would be friends and kind of balance each other out. And during that whole arc, Jiji was MVP. Even up until him getting possessed by the evil eye spirit, you can just see that where Jiji is coming from, it's coming from a good place. He's got a kind heart, that guy. So yeah, he's quippy. So yeah, he acts like an annoying teenager sometimes. He's got a good head on his shoulders. And guess what? Granny agrees. And with the latest episode of Dandadan, We Become a Family, that just drives the idea home. Even though not much happens in this episode, it is definitely one of my favorites. We get the most head-banging rock and roll exorcism I've ever seen. Are you ready to rock? Those rock and roll motherfuckers, they gave off massive Ginyu Force energy. Even the main singer is wearing Saiyan armor as an outfit. I mean, come on. And honestly, it felt like I was watching an episode of regular show. You know, episodes like Mordecai and the Rigby's, Summertime Lovin', and Bence's drum solo? You know, the ones where it's just gonna be like a sick-ass musical battle? It felt like that. Just going from the absolute shonen battle in the previous episode where everyone had to show up for the power of friendship to this, it just gives that same vibe where I don't know where this episode's heading. And to get back onto the whole Gigi conversation, I love just seeing Gigi and Ken becoming closer as friends. How these two guys are dealing with the exact same shit, they're basically in the same boat. Seeing them help and lean on each other, even in the simplest ways like going to the bathroom at night, it was nice to see these two guys getting along. And now, let's get into Gachiakuta. I, like many people, for the life of me, I could not pronounce the title of this show for the first couple weeks. Gachiakuta, whatever. Before the show was even released, the hype for it was just unmatched. I went to Anime Expo this year, and it was the biggest thing to be promoted by Crunchyroll as the next big anime. If you were a weeb, you should have been watching this show yesterday. And just by the art style, the show looks interesting. Like, style, it's got that going for it. Take the Fire Force / Soul Eater art style, crank it up to 11, give it some of that My Hero villain expressions, have it roll around in the mud, and make it all grungy looking, feed it some garbage, and what you get is Gachiakuta. This show was being plastered everywhere. Everyone was hyping it up. A lot was writing on the show actually being good. And the biggest question, does it live up to the hype? After giving it the 3-episode rundown, I can confidently say, yes, it does live up to the hype. Man, I just love the world building in this one. This is a cruel, unfair, unjust world. Classism is so rampant, it's the biggest part in the opening couple episodes. The privileged mega rich versus the subjugated lower class poor people. Sounds familiar, right? This show has got a pretty unique magic system. The whole givers and each one of them having a vital instrument. That is so interesting. And my god, dude, the character designs are on point. Everyone looking so dripped out. Like, you know how hard it is to make a guy with a pacifier look cool? And right now, the story, it is airtight. It's all really early. We're learning new and newer things about the show each episode. Not too much is explained to us. We know just enough to understand what is happening, but not enough to where we also have plenty of questions about how things truly operate in this world. It's just like what Engine said to Rudo. Info is nothing that comes cheap. Just based on that, you know this show is going to reward people who stick around. And I sure am sticking around. In the latest episode that just aired, episode 5, I am left wondering why the hell Rudo would ever want to go back up into the sphere. In the first few days of living in the pit, he has shown more compassion, understanding, and respect than his entire life living up in the sphere. And life down there isn't even half bad. I mean, they got pizza, ice cold beer, music, and art. What more do you need, bro? Later in the episode, I'm not gonna lie, I fell for it too. I didn't realize it was a setup until it was too late. And I am just blown away by some of the creativity the givers have with their vital instrument. It goes to show that their powers aren't limited by their objects' literal uses. They can stretch and do things adjacent to what their objects are intended to do. Such as the evil lady being able to make clay puppets out of her digging trowel, and Zaka's being some kind of sound fork he's able to use echolocation. That is just so cool, and I can't help but think if I had one of those, what would mine be and how would I use it? Anime fans are eating good this season. This is the peak that anime has to offer right now, so go watch it. Go watch it now. That's all I have to say. Thanks for hearing me out. Thanks for watching till the end. I've been J-Town. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.